The White Collar reboot may not beat the original series' most popular season, but the revival can easily surpass the worst season of the show. Though Jeff Eastin confirmed that 3 potential studios were interested in White Collar Renaissance in the form of Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Peacock, no updates for the White Collar revival have been made since. Even so, speculation on the series continues as audiences wonder how the revival will balance the original story format now that television has changed so much. Many of the best White Collar seasons had both concise narratives for each episode and strong overarching plots, with Season 3 being long regarded for having the best of each. Even though the White Collar reboot may not surpass Season 3 considering how much things will have to change, the show can do something new and exciting, especially compared to the disappointing Season 5. White Collar Renaissance should be at least better than Season 5. Season 5's story went in too many directions. White Collar's revival should be able to be more concise than Season 5, whose narrative made several jumps far too quickly. The season centers on various plotlines that run into each other, from Peter's, Tim DeKay, arrest to Neil, Matt Bomber, scrambling to do the bidding of Curtis Hagen, Mark Shepard, which leads him to his newest girlfriend, Rebecca, Bridget Regan. It then goes on to cover the death of an FBI agent and the breakdown of Neil and Peter's relationship before ending on a cliffhanger, making Season 5 one of the few to do so. Season 5 is counted as the worst season of White Collar due to how many conflicts got jammed within and resolved with little exploration. Peter and Neil's relationship is not given the time it previously had despite the many major breaking points the story pushes onto them. Not only that, but the stories involving Hagen and Rebecca either ended too quickly or were not given the build-up they needed, leaving their endings unsatisfying. White Collar Renaissance, fortunately, is not in a position to do the same, though the series finale brings its own issues to the revival. White Collar Renaissance will have to justify its existence after Season 6's ending. White Collar's finale was somewhat definitive. Neil walks the streets of Paris in White Collar. After Season 6's ending, White Collar's reboot may have a hard time crafting a fresh storyline and justifying its existence. White Collar's Season 6 ending was able to wrap up the loose ends of the story by having Neil vanish to France after finally taking down the Pink Panthers, but it left enough open that a revival is possible. The finale did, after all, showcase Peter finding the wine bottle that led to Neil's new life, so a story covering their reunion was already planted, making an organic segue for the revival to pick up. That being said, White Collar Renaissance may have a hard time balancing those ideas in the same way Season 5 did if it just focuses on the circumstances of their reunion or other new plot points. While it may not leap between major storylines, the revival could end up ignoring the character dynamics that audiences want to see more of. As a result, the revival's existence could end up being more harmful than helpful to White Collar's continued popularity if it is not done right. What the White Collar reboot needs to do to live up to the show's legacy. White Collar Renaissance needs to copy the original's character focus. Peter Burke and Neil Caffrey holding up badges in White Collar. To honor the original show's legacy, White Collar's reboot needs to take the time to explore the characters, much like previous seasons did. Several of the best episodes of White Collar balance the overarching story with episodic narratives, giving each one time to develop and create more anticipation. White Collar often highlighted shifting dynamics between the characters and commented on their evolution, building their arcs slowly and in a compelling way. White Collar Renaissance needs to do the same to truly bring back the essence of the original. However, this will not be easy given how much the TV landscape has changed since the show ended in 2014. TV shows, especially streaming originals, are becoming shorter, and there seems to be no time for filler episodes anymore. Even if the revival has a more limited time frame, taking an episode or two to have a smaller plot that lets the characters shine would help recapture the spirit of the original. This would allow the reboot of White Collar to retain what made the series popular while also extending the story, allowing us to properly see what has changed between Neil and Peter and what parts of their relationship have remained the same.